Assalamualaikum everyone, welcome to Biology Access. So today we are going to solve the October 2024 paper of Unit 1. So let's get started. Question 1. Amoeba are single-celled organisms that live in water. They are able to change their shape. The diagram shows two different shapes that one amoeba can make. Shape 1, which is this, and shape 2. Okay, cell membrane, nuclear, cytoplasm, like every cell. So let's go with the questions. 1a. An amoeba changes shape by pushing cytoplasm against the cell membrane, forming long thin projections. State the property of the cell membrane that enables the amoeba to change their shape. So what can be the one property due to what the amoeba can change their shape, right? The cell membrane is not rigid. Okay, the cell wall is rigid, but the cell membrane is not rigid. That's why when they push it, when the cytoplasm push against the cell wall, um, it can change its shape, unlike the cell wall. And it is cell membrane is also known as a fluid mosaic membrane, which is made up of fluid, right? Like it contains fatty acids, then proteins, like the fluidity of the cell membrane. Due to that, it can change its shape. Okay, so the answer can be the fluidity of the cell membrane, as it's a 1 mark question. So no need to explain it that much. You just need to the key point, and yeah, done. Let's move on to the next question. B. Gas exchange in an amoeba takes place across its cell membrane. The amoeba can be roughly spherical as shown in shape 1. Which is the surface area of the amoeba in this shape? Use the formula. Surface area of a sphere is equal to 4 pi r square. So over here you just need to measure the radius. It's already given 300, right? Radius square. So you just do the calculation, 4 into pi into radius square. So it is 90,000 pi un cube. So now let's move on to the next question. 3. The mass of the amoeba stays the same when it changes from shape 1 to shape 2. Which row of the table shows what happens to the surface area and volume of the amoeba when it changes to shape 2? The surface area, it remains the same, or does it decreases or increases? And what happens to the volume? As it states that the mass of the amoeba, it stays the same, right? So the volume will stay the same. Whatever is inside the amoeba will be same. But what about surface area? We know that, for example, this is a big potato. Okay, suppose it's a big potato and it's a sliced one. Okay, so which one has a greater surface area? Of course this one, because it's cut and it has more area exposed. Unlike this one, it has only this area, the outer membrane is only exposed. But when it is cut, it is divided into more groups, and which increases its surface area. Okay, it's a easy question. It's a easy example that can help you to remember what happens to the surface area when anything is cut. Like, let me show you with this diagram. Actually, Look at this, its surface area is this, okay? But when it has changed its shape, it shows that the surface area has increased, right? Like it has increased in this way, this way, this way, this way. Like more of the areas are exposed right now. But before it was not same. Okay. So whenever it changes its shape, the surface area is increases, but the volume inside it stays the same. So the answer is C. Explain why an amoeba can rely on diffusion to supply the oxygen it needs. So we need to first understand the concept that why amoeba can fulfill its oxygen demand through diffusion only. It's because amoeba is a small organism. Its energy demand is not as high as we humans. Okay. We humans rely on respiration uh, uh, for the uptake. We rely on to the uptake of oxygen to do respiration in our body, but it's not same for amoeba. Only diffusion can help them with that because they're smaller organism, and all the cells are closer to the cell membrane of the amoeba, and they can get enough of the oxygen through diffusion only, so they don't need any um, huge mechanical support to take up oxygen. Diffusion can help them with that. So let's see the answer. Because there is a higher concentration of oxygen outside than in the cytoplasm. As I said before, the oxygen moves from the higher concentration area to the lower concentration. And then all parts of the amoeba are close to the cell membrane. Amoeba has a small volume. It's a small organism, so it has a small volume. Low energy requirements and low respiratory rate. Like the energy requirement is not higher, it has a lower respiratory rate, so that much of oxygen will work for amoeba, but it won't work for us humans. That's why we need more complex mechanism for our respiration. Okay, so this is question 1.